Hello, everyone. Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohayou Anime. Irashaimase. It is not morning here, but it is morning in Japan. So that's how we're getting away with it. My name is John. And we're going to have another big episode talking about the latest Jujutsu Kaisen episodes. So be ready for that. We will have more guests than we've had in a while today. And we got a pretty interesting topic up front to discuss. A never-ending debate, I would say. So, let's get in first guest here. Phil, how's it going?
Hey, good. How about you, John?
Good. Got football you're watching, or is Thursday night?
Not today. I don't really know, and no fantasy players on that I care that much about. I think it's the Bears and the Panthers. So
sounds right. Yeah,
pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But no, I'm fully committed to the pod tonight.
Nice. You get your hair did?
I did. Yeah, this weekend
nice.
Got my little.
That's good.
Thank you. Say, John, Is it morning? So in Japan right now, is tomorrow morning or this morning? I was wanting to ask you that.
They're like 13 hours in the future.
They're ahead of us. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's always crazy.
Yeah.
It's that's why flights are fun to
sure, right. Yeah.
Jet lag and stuff. So
for sure.
Okay, we got another guest here. JP. It's been a hot minute.
JP.
What's up, guys?
The return.
Hey. Your space looks different, cleaner, something.
Empty. There's just nothing.
JP was.
I can hear it. I can hear the nothing.
Is it like an echo? Yeah, it's like an echo-ness. Yeah. Dude, that's my whole house right now. I walk through it, and it's like a model home. It's just like,
yep.
You talk, you walk different. It just feels hollow. It feels like a house.
Not your home anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys must move out soon then, huh?
Dog, anybody listen to the podcast? Actually, maybe I shouldn't give up my home
address. I wouldn't give out your address, but
look for a house in Lakeville. PM John. He'll give you the deeds.
There you
go. Yeah, some insane murderer. Yeah, I'm looking for a house, of course.
Yeah, right. Some fringe follower that's just a stalker of John, just like,
could be.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, well, so before everybody gets here, and before we get into the main topic, let's see what you've been watching. JP, it's been the longest since we've heard from you. So have you been too busy for any shows, or have you watched some?
Nope, I got a few for you here. For one, I just learned that Attack on Titan, this is actually the final season that just came out. Yeah. I thought it was already done, and I gave up on it.
No.
So
this is it.
Now it's actually in the final parts, Phil, so you can just hammer it all the way home.
Yeah, I did read about it a little bit just to get the general gist, but then I was like forgetting who characters were, and they're like, and then this guy actually turned out to be this Titan, and this guy turned out to be that Titan. I was like, I don't remember what these characters are anymore. So I don't know.
Honestly, the animation styles changed so much from the beginning to where it's ended up. The characters don't even look like, I can get like aging characters.
Sure,
they don't even look. It's like everyone looks like just. No, Aaron. That.
The thing is,
stuff,
though, like studios and teams really do have a style, and it'd be tough if they're trying to imitate the original style, and then everybody's immediately comparing it. Like, that's not as good in that way. Yeah. So if it's just like obviously different, I don't know.
Yeah. It just like the first couple seasons were pretty consistent and made sense, and then all of a sudden it was just like a hard, like almost like a brand new show, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, that's on my to-do list here. But I did watch Castlevania Nocturna. I didn't want to ask the stupid question to anybody to be like, hey, when does this take place?
Oh, that's okay. No,
because I didn't know if it was like a prequel or something, and I didn't I couldn't remember the dates of the original, and I didn't want to be stupid. But when I got all the way to the end, I was like, holy shit, give me more. I was very sad for that.
Yeah.
other than that, I finished. Well, I got to end of Zom 100 for whatever its current ending is, which I've been very happy with. And the only other things I'm really looking out for are Invincible. Well, this is an anime, but Invincible season 2 and Bungo Stray Dogs, which I hear is absolutely bonkers. For its, I think it's like it's in 5th or 6th season, but yeah. And then I hammered out Jujutsu Kaisen in one day.
Nice.
Let me tell you, if I had to watch that week by week, I'd be so pissed. Those episodes are short. I heard Mike complain a little bit. He's like, it's only like 15 minutes. I'm like, dog.
It feels like
nothing happens. Yeah,
it feels like about 10 minutes long, and you're like, okay, well, give me 10 more of those.
So Crunchyroll just kind of plays them in order, and then I got to the end, and then all of a sudden it just started playing the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, they brought him back. Oh my god, Rika's back. And then I was like, oh wait a minute, this is the movie. It took me like 10 minutes to figure out that it wasn't the next episode. And I was like, this doesn't make sense, but I'm totally okay if they like hammer this in real quick.
Well, we've mentioned it multiple times that the movie's worth watching again. Like, I need to check it out again.
Yep. Well, speaking of which, his name was mentioned, and now he appears. Mike, welcome back. You're in the darkness. You emerge from. Look at the contrast here from JP to Mike right now. It's like
because he's hard on, hard off.
He has all of the above.
How's it going, Mike?
Going fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm concerned like your power's out or something. It's like dark, you're wearing a beanie, like you're cold.
Do we need
to send help, Mike? Do we need to send help?
Be impressive doing a podcast with the power out.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Battery backup.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
laptop, hotspot.
Set the mood, for all of those that we've lost.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No spoilers yet. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of someone that doesn't need the spoilers, Tony, how's it going?
Tony.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, guys?
Dude, cool. Is that your Xbox?
Been a minute.
Or is that a virtual background?
No, that's my actual
Tell me it don't look fake almost. Like it almost looks like
Tony is surprisingly contrasted from the rest of the house. You look surprisingly cut out. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It means you got a shiny forehead. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
I do have a shiny forehead.
Your hair is just perfect. I think that's got something to do with it.
It almost looks like Weatherman fake.
Perfect. It is immaculate.
We have
I mean that as a compliment.
I wonder if it's something your camera's doing or something. It does look.
Okay, it's not just me then. Yeah.
No, it's got that the cartoon shine that's coming down. Just the one strip too. It's God damn.
Why do you think he was 5 minutes later than all of us?
He was getting that light positioned.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to get like soup stuff and everything looking nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
I like the contrast of my fully lit up room to Mike's.
Yep.
I just want all your attention and focus on my face. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's a beautiful face.
All right, so we're going through what everybody's watched a little bit. Heard JP's got Attack on Titan. He's going to be starting the final season. Castlevania Nocturne. Finish that. And and then some other things you're looking forward to. Oh, yeah, and then Zom 100. Phil, how about you? Anything you've been watching?
Yeah, so I've tried a bunch of different things, just like trying episodes here and there. Like I tried an episode or two of the Apothecary Diaries, which was supposed to be like really well animated, so that was interesting, but didn't really pull me in. I tried a couple episodes of Undead Murder Farce. I on a recommendation from a friend, I tried a couple episodes of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Which I know is like I know.
No. If you've seen it,
However,
it's just the names. It's
I
just
know.
the names.
However, apparently it's like a pretty typical like what you think it is for like a couple seasons, and then I guess in like the third or fourth season it gets crazy. So he said like check it out because he was just kind of watching it for the reasons you might watch a show like that. And he's
so
like, but it got wild.
How far have you gotten?
Like 3 or 4 episodes, and I fell asleep. I tried watching it way too late at night. So
okay, all right. I watched the first season and I actually really liked it.
Oh, okay.
A lot. It was very good.
Apparently, it gets really good. Like 3 seasons.
Well, then there was a big delay, but it felt like between the next thing and then they released some. I don't know. We didn't ever really go back to it.
Okay.
So I know there's more, and it's something I should probably look at again.
Yeah. The most interesting thing I watched lately was I watched the first couple episodes of Record of Lodoss War. It's like a 1990 like D&D style fantasy anime. It's like I heard someone online call it the Lord of the Rings of anime or something like that. So it's pretty cool. I've watched most of it's worth checking out for sure. I've watched most of Pluto on Netflix, which is really good. Kind of a slow burn, sci-fi crime anime. And then the coolest thing I've watched isn't actually anime, but I binged the whole Blue-Eyed Samurai series on Netflix. It's wild.
Okay, so Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Mm-hmm. It's mostly like CGI, I would say. I thought it was a similar CGI style to Trigun Stampede, the remake of Trigun. So like really well done, but it is CGI.
Okay.
It's like it's like Kill Bill meets samurais. I mean, well, I guess they're samurais and Kill Bill, but you know, it's like revenge.
Blue eyes.
Yeah.
Must be a white dude then, huh? We whitewashing it.
No,
I mean, I don't want to give anything away because no one has seen it. So if we had all seen it, it's not spoilers. But yeah, it's.
Is it Tom Cruise? It's Tom Cruise, the blue-eyed samurai.
It is animated, so no Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise could be.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
They needed an excess of a small man with a pumpy-armed run, and they're like Tom Cruise.
Hey, his form is immaculate.
Dude, he is.
Yeah, and someone's calculated like how fast he can run and how many miles he's run over the course of his movie career. I don't remember what the figures were, but
that's awesome.
It's impressive.
I want to know how fast he can run.
I know. Okay, so what's that, Tony?
His running speed, because of how tall he is kind of like our long stride when we walk.
I don't know.
We're not exactly tall people ourselves here, Tony.
Some of us are over 6 feet tall.
Hey, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, giant.
It's funny, the taller people are on the top row here.
Yeah.
Shorter guys.
Wow. And we make the most money.
Discrimination.
It's statistics. It's just basic math.
That makes me feel awful because like Mike's like 2 to 3 inches taller than me.
What? No.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah,
I'm
pretty sure Mike's taller than me.
I think I'm taller. I don't think I got 3 inches on you. My wife wouldn't think so either. What? Jesus, that had layers to it.
That was a good multi-layered joke. I had something for that. I don't know if it was appropriate. This is a morning talk show, so
right. That's true.
Yeah, right.
Can't hit those heavy-hitting topics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we got.
Oh wait, one more show.
Here.
One more show, John. One more show.
Okay.
If you guys haven't seen it already, Goblin Slayer is already out. Goblin Slayer season 2.
Okay.
Awesome. There's one questionable scene at the beginning of the first season, but the next, I didn't think they were going to come out with another season of it. I thought it was just kind of a one shot, but it came out and
questionable how.
So think of it as like, oh hey, raiding parties and goblins, like just like a
pretty violent, disturbing.
Yeah, so like the newbies go in there and it's like the first scene. They just all get slaughtered, and then the goblins do a nice look, not a nice scene to the lady.
Oh, got it.
And, yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no thanks.
So I have a
that
question.
turned it off to a lot of people right off the rip because it was like the first thing. But then from there on out, it's good old wholesome killing goblins.
Wholesome.
I have heard it's good, and I've heard it's got to be like.
A lot of people can't get past that first episode, and it's just like,
Fair.
people understand, but then there's people like me. It's like, hey, give it a chance.
JP's like, I'm
Speaking.
When's the next?
Speaking of wholesome, here's Andrea.
Hey.
I thought she was in meetings all day. Let's go.
Yeah, Mike, I was
watching it. Yep.
I was going to ask you actually, Mike, about that. Like, if you're you've had some anime you've watched and like had some questionable content in there that seems to bother you. Like, do you have a line in anime, or is it like mostly just, you know,
I've got a line that is pretty conservative. It feels like, I mean, recently you're talking about like MF Ghost is what I brought up recently.
Yep.
And they're just so comfortable with being like, hey, this is a 16 or 17-year-old girl in her underwear and she's a sex object to a lot of these people. And I'm like, you are willing to call her out as like 16. That's awkward.
What's the difference between Michael Bay using Megan Fox when she was 15 in Bad Boys 2?
Still gross.
Yep.
Yeah,
Still
agreed.
gross, but yeah. So
Still gross.
Like,
When I was 15, that's cool as shit, man. Send it. Love it.
right?
I guess at 32, it's like, okay, this is getting a little weird.
Yeah, it's
Well, and that's
there's a
that's
definite
the
lens
split.
that you see it through. It's
That's-
the same stuff we watched when we were younger. This is awesome, and then you watch it now, you're like, this is weird.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
but it's like awesome because you're age appropriate for it to
Right.
be awesome.
Right.
And in this MF Ghost show, it's specifically a dude that's like in his late 20s, early 30s, fawning over a 16-year-old girl. And yeah, I think that's a decent line for a Western dude brought up in a Western way to be like, that's messed up, because I don't know if you can swear.
Sure.
You can swear. That's fine.
And it's not like, you know, in Demon Slayer, right? You got Nezuko, who, like, you know, becomes voluptuous and stuff when the demon takes over.
Right.
But you also don't have a dude who's trying to rail her.
Right.
So there's
I
differences.
mean, Zenitsu's like in love with her, but I don't think he'd know what to do.
But he's their same age.
Yeah, he's
a
like
young. He's
10.
young.
Yeah,
You know, similar.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thought she was. Isn't she old? Like she's like in her late 20s, isn't she?
No, she's
No,
little.
she's not. No, she was his little sister, and she's never going to age past that
Eight.
point now that she's a demon.
Oh,
Oh,
wow,
that
that's
raises
weird.
a lot
I'm
of
like
ethical
totally caught up
issues.
with that show, and I assumed she was the older sister to.
Oh, no.
That's because when she's demon form, she looks
Right.
like she would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that's
Weird.
kind of my line.
Mike, there is something to be said about the weird horniness of Japanese creators in all the shows. Even like in Naruto, they are obsessed with the fingers up the butt game. That was like the one thing that I was
It's
just
just
like,
like goosing, right? Like
That-
goosing.
that-
someone.
whatever it is that they try to do it to the teacher, and they're just like, thunk, and then they get the weird face, and it's just like, okay,
I mean-
is everyone obsessed with just
I
throwing
mean,
the fingers
The
up the
teacher
butts?
in that, though.
It's a different
the
culture.
teacher,
To some extent, there's going to be some differences. I don't, you know, John, we've talked about this, I think, in Japan.
Yeah, it's a culture thing.
More
My bad.
acceptable. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying, like, you know.
Yeah, they're
I
wondering
think-
why they can't find wives, but they're playing, you know, the thumb up the butt game. I don't know. There might be some
I think-
correlation there. I'm not.
We just don't want to be, you know, judging a culture, like, specifically.
I do.
Well, I think. I mean, like, I'm good judging a culture for its merits. You know, pros and cons. But I think that.
We just,
Like-
we just want to be respectful. Is all.
if I'm
Yeah,
gonna give
but-
credit for the
maybe.
things I like about their culture, I'm going to
I'm gonna
call
call
out
out things
on the
I
crap
do
that
not
I
like.
think is messed up.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think where fans often get like their hackles up quickly is because they feel like the thing that gets under attack today and has scrutiny for these types of things is anime. And so it's like, here's the thing that's existed for a long time. For whatever reason, this, because of, a plethora of examples, gets, targeted, versus when we can come up with Western examples that we've all kind of just let go, the example brought up of Megan Fox or whatever, and like things that just aren't really exactly, no one's going after now. So it feels like an unfairness. Like, why are you picking on the thing that I love and calling out this where it could be someplace else? Like, often we get to all kinds, there's a lot of censorship from especially PlayStation in Japanese games that come over, sometimes changing dramatic things about it. But then a game like Baldur's Gate 3 gets to come out and you can perform all sorts of debauchery and full nudity and all sorts of things. And it's like, there's just the more the element of like, be uncomfortable with whatever you're uncomfortable with. And, but let's talk about that fairly and not target something specifically. Call out one thing versus another.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a simple like, don't be hypocritical, which is fair. But it's also like, I don't know, there's a lot of like lines to walk about, like, you don't want to be hypocritical, but you don't want to do whataboutism, because then you're just like going to go in circles. But then also, like, I think that people are more receptive to like genuine and very real criticism when you also express appreciation for something. Like, it's not just like, I'm going to come out and be like, all of it sucks. Like, this is a good forum to be like, I appreciate anime. Look at all the things I do like. And also, like, I can say, hey, don't love this part too.
Sure.
Yep. There's definitely, and it can make a person uncomfortable for sure. There's like these traps that like sort of, it's like traps that lead you into different fetishes, essentially. There's a show, let's see, what's My Dress Up Darling, which is actually a really good show.
Yeah.
But there is for sure one moment in there that is like a trap for like a pervert or something that is uncomfortable. They have you, again, everybody has their line or whatever, but what they do is, how's it go now? So someone walks in on someone in the bathroom naked, and that person looks like a little girl. And it's like, okay, or whatever, but you find out soon that the person's actually of age. She's actually older than the other person. So it does this weird thing with you that just, it's an uncomfortable scene. And I don't know, like the show's so good despite all, like a few moments like that.
Sure.
So.
It's like how I think that guys that find Ariana Grande sexually attractive are off-putting. Throw that hot take out there. Like, there's something that's not right about that, guys.
Okay. I don't know what I had to look her up.
Ariana Grande when she was in Victorious, or Ariana Grande now?
I don't know what that is. Now. Now, like,
Victorious was the show she was in prior to her becoming like huge. She played Kat on Victorious.
Okay.
In what?
It's like a Disney Channel show, isn't it?
Definitely then.
Can of worms.
Mike's obviously going to say both.
Yes.
Obviously then.
Yes. Then and even now, I mean, and I think she plays up to it. This is not what our topic of discussion is supposed to be about.
No.
I know. I want to know how this wound in.
You're
here.
way in the weeds, like lost in the forest here. Let's bring it back.
I'm going to agree with Mike, but I'm going to go a step further. It's not so much the people that find attractive off-putting. She's off-putting.
That's valid.
Ariana Grande?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Phil. Hey, man, if I'm calling you out, my bad.
It feels like making sure his camera's tilted so you don't see the Ariana Grande poster next to him.
I mean, it's fine. People can
sign it to Phil.
I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm saying that there's a hint of something. You just dodged a bullet.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Sorry, JP. I can tell you're uncomfortable as well. I know you like her.
No, man.
Andrea. All right. So, well, either way, it's a topic that's gonna keep
I
coming
left
up.
work
And I
meetings
think
for
it's
this.
yeah.
Good.
I don't think there's
Worth it.
anything wrong with
Obviously.
pointing these out. A lot of times we gotta think like a lot of these things are made for kids, so there's a different perspective there.
Sure.
But a lot of them also aren't made for kids. So, yeah, the good and the bad. But continuing on with what we've been watching, Andrea, have you managed to watch anything different or other than Jujutsu in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I've watched just the first episode of Blue Eye Samurai. Yep, Phil.
Okay.
I don't know. You made it sound intriguing, so I checked it out. I'm loving the art style.
Mm-hmm.
The story's still too new for me to feel really in, but
Sure.
I mean, I liked the first episode, so I would definitely keep going.
Awesome.
That is sadly the only other anime I've watched. The other show I've been watching is The Fall of the House of Usher,
Mm.
which is not about the singer.
No.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Not.
Yeah. All right, Tony, how about you? You've been watching anything? I know a while ago you were watching some Gundam, but
I bouncing kind of in between a couple of different shows. So yeah, like the 1979, 77, 79 Gundam, original Gundam show. It's pretty good. There's a lot of, I watched that show and I'm like, okay, is this a kid's show or is this an adult like the themes in this show that talk about like PTSD, wartime desertion, like humanitarian aid. It's like, okay. But they do it it's a show. I like it. And then I kind of, Mike, in the text conversation was like, yeah, so Initial D. And I was like, I remember that show. And then I started watching it. And immediately I was like, I remember this. And I binged, I think I'm like 25 episodes. There are like 30 episodes there already.
Nice.
And for me, I'm like, I can't tell now looking back as an older person, like you're talking about watching it when I was like 16, like this is rad. I'm going to go, drift my 3G front wheel drive Eclipse that can't drift, but looking at it as an adult now, it almost seems like a satire on car culture. And I finally find it. So I'm really enjoying it for that because it's like it's taking itself seriously, but also like it feel like it's trying to be tongue in cheek in a lot of like areas of like car culture. And then I started up MF Ghost as well. Tailing on that, they introduced that whole 16-year-old and can't, ambiguous is he 28 or 38. Guy who's like obsessed with her, so there's that weirdness there, but it's an overall a pretty good show. And that's a sequel to Initial.
Yes,
like that's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And that one's brand new, Mike.
That is.
Yeah.
That one's brand new. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that going in, so I was kind of like, it's cool. And then
you didn't know it was a sequel going in?
I don't think I did. No.
Oh, cool.
No, you had mentioned that I think. Misunderstood as it was like Initial D, not that it was a sequel to Initial D.
Okay.
So, and then other than that, I know because I got into like Elden Ring earlier this year. I tried Berserk because a lot of people who Elden Ring do the guy that does the writing and the lore design for Elden Ring and the Dark Souls series and everything. He's like big into Berserk. So a lot of that is drawn from Berserk to create that world. And immediately I watched like 3 episodes of Berserk. I'm like, yep, this is ripped straight from the level design. So yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Nice. It's a good mix.
I want to give that a try.
Yeah, Berserk is interesting. I never know. I've never tried it because I've heard so many people say you should just read the manga.
Mm-hmm.
And such mixed results on the various adaptations to animated form. So,
it's definitely a jarring art style.
Right. Yeah, it stands out. Yep. And Mike, I know you've been watching some of those things too.
Yep.
What have you all been watching?
Tony and I pretty much have the same path. So I actually went through and I finished what is available of Initial D on Crunchyroll. I don't know why, but they don't have stage 5. And then I guess stage 6 is very short, maybe not necessarily worth it. They're not rated as high, but it kind of feels bad to not have the total end to the series. But yeah, went all the way through the 4 stages or seasons of that, which is it's cool for MF Ghost because you get to understand the Easter eggs, right? You don't have to have watched it at all to watch MF Ghost, but it is nice to have the Easter eggs that are coming through. That part's pretty cool. And then obviously keeping up with MF Ghost, and Overtake is the other one. So Overtake is the Formula 4 show. So, a couple steps below Formula 1. And that's a very cool show as well. They are starkly different. MF Ghost is, Tony, I think you hit it well. I think it is still a bit of a parody about car culture and racing and cars in general. It is definitely an anime. And then Overtake, it's an anime as well, but it feels a little bit more grounded in reality. Like it's trying to tell a real story that could actually happen. Whereas MF Ghost is just like, nah, this is out there, mythical things that could never actually happen, physics that
That's
are defied.
incredible. Oh my God.
Sure.
Yeah.
Every turn, I can't believe he's carrying that much speed. It's like, I can't have seen the show. So yeah, went through and watched those, and they're excellent. I like them a lot. So those are the shows that I actually look forward to now. Obviously they're right up my alley. But they're the ones that I get excited about on a weekly basis.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I watched a little bit of MF Ghost, and with no initial D background, still been enjoyable. And Overtake, I prefer that art style, and they immediately introduced a number of potentially interesting characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Nice. Okay, well, that's a pretty good mix from everyone. Good job. I want to bring up our first and only news story here. And it's perfect because Phil, not only have you mentioned, well, a number of people have mentioned some anime that really is anime, I air quote them, that kind of we've been talking about. And you found this article from Dextero, looks like an entertainment website.
I think so.
And the title is Netflix Changing the Meaning of Anime? And I will pull this up. So for our viewers here can take a look at it. Okay, so a couple of those things have been mentioning, Castlevania Nocturne, Blue-Eyed Samurai, not exactly anime. And it's the age-old topic, is anime something, Andrea and I have discussed this, is anime, does it have to be made in Japan? Does a creative team have to be Japanese to be anime? Or can it be in the style of what that is, be taking cues from that thing, and then be considered anime? Some people will say the Avatar, The Last Airbender, anime, that kind of thing. So we can go and see what everybody thinks about what their take is on this. But looking through this article a little bit, the line between what constitutes anime and animation is blurring, thanks in part to streaming giants such as Netflix. But now Netflix has exclusive distribution rights on shows like The 7 Deadly Sins and is creating its own original anime series made for Western audience. The industry's transformation could see it becoming unrecognizable for fans. We watched a couple things on Netflix. Where is everybody initially? Have you thought about this? Where do you fall on this spectrum? JP, do you distinguish the two? Something that's made in the West but kind of looks like anime, or something that's made in the East and is anime? Is there a difference to you?
I don't think there's much of a difference to me. What was the Black Samurai show that was on Netflix? Sasuke?
Afro Samurai.
Well, there's Afro Samurai, and then there was another one.
It's like Yakusk or something like that.
Yasuke or whatever.
Yasuke. Yeah.
Bless you.
And I was like, oh, dude, this is anime. And I was like, oh, no, this is just, like, to me, it makes no difference. Like, my lame breaking point would be, like, if it was originally developed in Japanese and then we had to dub it in English, or if it was just made to English. That would be, like, my just as lame as that is, but...
What do you mean? Wait. What do you mean by that?
So for like animes that we watch, I would say they're all, made in Japanese, and then they hire dub actors to dub it in English. And I typically watch in English unless I don't want to wait. But like these other shows that are just created for English watching audiences are technically animated in English with how their mouths move and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Small difference, but
so then that's the line that it's not anime.
That would be my difference between what is anime and versus what is American.
Okay.
Anime.
So if the original language is
Sure.
Japanese,
I would say it would be based on the original language.
But JP, do you think those shows that are like made in America for American audiences that are animated with English in mind can be considered anime?
To me, it all falls under the same category. Like that's how I always thought of anime. But when you break it down, like anime can only be created by Japanese people or whatever. What's the current definition that it's?
Well,
animated?
I mean, I don't know what Merriam-Webster says, but
what's like that? I want to know what the definition is. Is it a style or is it like regional based? Because that's like saying
if you don't get ridiculed in high school for watching it, it's not anime. Sorry.
Okay, so it was originally Japanimation was what people were calling it. So cartoons from Japan. Japanimation. That's what it is. We changed that. We just changed what we called it shortened it from Japanimation to anime. So cartoons that come from Japan.
Okay.
But anime just means cartoon in Japanese. So to them, it's a cartoon. Yeah. Same as manga just means comic.
Then under that distinction right there, that it's just cartoon. Technically, cartoon is the style. If it's a style, then I would lump it all into one category, and then you can just separate it how you would. But to me, I think the animation styles are. I think this is the greatest thing ever that Netflix is. How much they invest? $8 billion. That article said.
Yeah,
it's probably the greatest thing that's happened to have some sort of competition between animes coming out of Japan versus maybe some Western style type stuff.
And I think it's just making it more mainstream. People get pulled into anime through Netflix. That's how I got into it. Castlevania and all those shows.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight into anime.
Dragon Ball Z was the first. I mean, who said like if you get ready to it in the morning? I was watching Dragon Ball Z before and after school. So where's that definition fall?
That's anime.
That's Toonami for the OGs.
Well, and technically, like Pokemon, the Indigo League, the very first generation of Pokemon, considered an anime, and I watched that after school, and I considered it just a cartoon. I never considered it an anime. But like that was weird when they were like, "Oh yeah, the anime Pokemon." I'm like, "No, it's just a cartoon, dude."
Yep.
Right.
Same. I watched that, and I watched Yu-Gi-Oh, and I had no idea, zero clue.
Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like the more gatekeeping that we keep on this, like that's not a real anime. Those people can just F right off. I'll fight those people. I don't want any gatekeeping when it comes to this stuff. If it's dope, I want everybody watching it.
I agree.
But it's just like, you guys don't even know what real anime is. Have you ever seen Naughty Dungeons and Dragons After Dark? Nocturna? It's so low key, you wouldn't even heard of it. You have to watch it on Crunchyroll Plus.
I think. Well,
out of Taiwan.
I think the term gatekeeping gets a bad rap sometimes, just because the idea is if your idea is gatekeeping is, well, we only let in purists into our club here or something like that, you know, like that's one thing. But it's also sometimes like you get people, especially you see it online anyways. I don't know how much they actually consume of any of it, but it's like they don't really like the thing at all. They'd rather it be a thing they like. So like, I watched this thing, I didn't like it, I have a lot of complaints. Why can't it be my way? And so you get people that come into communities and it's like, why are you here? You don't actually like any of this stuff. Why don't you bounce and go make the thing that you want to like, you know? Mike's probably laughing because I feel like this. Why? Tell me why you're laughing, Mike.
Because I'm the gatekeeper to Forza Motorsport.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. Yes, that's
I'm the only one that's allowed like this because I actually drive a car.
Why are you
posers?
No, it's true.
No way.
I
have a lot of
no.
That's my fear with this sort of thing. You're right, JP. A lot of like increased competition from different places is going to, you know, hopefully make more places be better, create new kinds of anime and all sorts of thing. The other thing we've seen happen though is when things get too mainstream, they end up getting watered down and losing the essence of what they were. So all the people that sat there and loved the thing, bought all the toys, did all the stuff for everything. Now everyone likes it, but they like a watered down, meek, bland version of that thing. They don't actually like, yeah, Marvel, exactly.
Sure.
The millions of people going to see the Marvel movies, a fraction of them ever gave two shits about any of the comic books.
No.
So you had to have this sort of, you know, base for everyone's sort of vanilla thing. And you get just more and more of that until eventually it's just run into the ground. And so I don't want to be like, oh, this is doom and gloom, but I'm just saying like everything becoming super mainstream and the most popular thing ever doesn't do well for keeping something what it really was that we identify with and love right now.
Well, I mean, like there's no guarantee that it'll like crash and burn. I mean, Marvel obviously had a meteoric rise for a reason, and there was like some very quality product put out for a while.
There was.
It's just like now, like it would just went too far. If they can find like a sweet stopping point or a sweet like, you know,
it's like, just not in the nature of. You know, corporate entities to do that.
Right. No, it isn't. It's always more. I get it. It's just, I mean, at least you can look forward to the rise, if not the fall.
Yeah.
I was just going to say really quickly and tie it together between John and JP. Sorry. I agree with both of you. I want this content to be out there, to your point, JP, and John, I agree with you. If it can get like too saturated and then it loses essence, all the things you said. But what I like about this article, or maybe not the article itself, but the idea of Netflix and changing the idea of like what anime is and what anime can be, and like bring it to a larger mainstream audience. They're doing I think that the key is they're doing a pretty good job. I feel like for the most part with some of these like Castlevania, Blood of Zeus, which isn't as like popular of a one, but it was really well done. Another good, kind of like American anime cartoon, very similar to anime. So I mean, whether they're considered true anime or not, like these things they're putting out, like Pluto and Blue Eye Samurai and Castlevania, are really good. And so I think they're not like doing a disservice to the anime industry. Like I feel like they're trying to make good anime and anime-like shows. So if they're putting out quality product, then I feel like they're still maintaining the important anime product.
I guess I'd rather them focus on that than focus on any live action adaptations because tank.
Yeah,
I'm not.
So One Piece.
I was about to say One Piece is like on fire right now for how good the. Tony, did you hear it was good?
I heard it was good.
I heard it was good.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've heard.
I've seen One Piece, but like I've never seen. I wanted to watch it, but everyone's like, "Yeah, there's like 1,500 episodes."
Oh
it's
yeah.
Like, dude, That's daunting.
It's like starting Bleach. God, it's so overwhelming.
We have a blood pact on this anime pod that none of us are going to watch.
One Piece. Yeah.
One
You
Piece.
can just straight up an awesome live action adaptation is.
I actually, my cousin watched it and said it was awesome. So
my brother, he's about 3/4 of the way through the anime, and he watched the show, and he was like, the character development they did in like 3 episodes was probably like 6 seasons worth of content that they perfectly did, and it was just.
That's crazy.
And it was just so well done that people were. And I heard a lot of things that were just like, oh, we don't like these characters. Kind of like how people like say, Heath Ledger shouldn't have been the Joker. When people get cast as these roles based on like prior things, just the prior prejudices of like what they've already done, and then they come out and just kill it. I think really makes a role just then it just blows up from there.
Yeah,
Cool.
One Piece is doing. I usually think adaptation should be expanding, like Cyberpunk Edge Runners, not duplicating. But if you're going to duplicate, it seems like this is done it the right way, and that it's really driving people to each thing. People that have read the manga, watched the show, are watching this show now too. People that are watching the Netflix thing are moving and trying the anime. So it's a good ecosystem, or like, what's the business word I'm looking for? It's good synergy going on here. Yeah. Tony, what do you think about the definition of anime? Is it changing? Does it matter to you?
I think if it's changing, it might be changing for the better to incorporate a wider array of subject matter, which like Phil said and you reiterated, is just bringing more people into this kind of what used to be a subculture. 15 years ago, even 20 years ago when we were younger, it was a subculture. Like there was not a lot there. But through streaming, the availability of being able to see this and people opening up, for the first time watching, one of these shows when they're in their late 20s, like, this is great. Like, I really like this, and kind of expands that. I think, to me, I always thought the difference between animation or a cartoon was whether or not the themes or the ring, the art style, the production studio kind of came from Japanese culture or Eastern culture. It had Western culture was more cartoon based, and that's where you got like the Looney Tunes and like Dexter's Laboratory and Powerpuff Girls. They're basically everything that came onto Cartoon Network in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And that was kind of my differentiation between the two. My window into that world was Toonami, which of course was, if you watched cartoons on Cartoon Network, you got Toonami, and that was like I never see these shows on during the day. Why is that? And it was like Gundam Wing and like Big O and Zoids and all these other like shows, Dragon Ball Z, and so I kind of like it. There is, though, in mind, there's that kind of like subculture of anime where it's very particular to like cosplaying and like outlandish, like bright color, like festivities at these huge conventions and stuff like that. And there is like that in my mind, that stereotype that only fits with the definition of what we see as mainstream anime, versus you don't see anybody cosplaying for like a Looney Tunes convention. At least I have not. So if anybody's watching, they're like, well, I disagree. I have not seen it.
Do they have Looney Tunes conventions?
It's 2023.
That's my first question.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of Lola Bunny cosplays.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And
That is a direct product of Space Jam. I will argue.
Exactly. But that Space Jam was pulling Looney Tunes. It's Michael Jordan and Looney Tunes.
True.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, not Toonami.
Right. I was, yeah.
Although I did learn that the studio that did Space Jam actually had 3 scripts written and in Tony Hawk's hand to do Skate Jam, which is basically almost the same thing, but Tony was going to be like the main character. It was literally laid out, but then they had that Brendan Fraser movie that came out. It was like Looney Tunes Back in Action, like 2001 or something.
Wait, what?
Brendan Fraser was in that movie with Looney Tunes, like Looney Tunes Back in Action.
I don't remember that.
Live action.
Oh,
And
God, I don't know that.
bombed. It did not do well. It did not do as well as Space Jam, and so they Skate Jam, and Tony Hawk never got to do it.
Man, probably for the best.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Considering the Space
What
Jam
could have
remake,
been?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We do not speak its name.
Well, Meg, with this article, I don't know, I'm not going to go through a ton of it here, but again, it's on Dextero.com. Everybody take a look at it if you're interested. The debate will continue to go on and on. What is anime? It's clear that Netflix is heavily invested, so we're going to get more and more original productions. And I guess my fear is, the more immediate fear is that in not too long, Netflix might be one of the only places to get anime. Crunchyroll, like, as far as I know, is doing well, but they're paying out a lot of money for these shows. And eventually they're not going to have enough money to like warrant blank checks for licensing all these different shows. It's like one after another shows are licensed from Japan. It's a lot. And some of the studios over there know like this day is coming where we're going to have trouble selling our anime to someone else because one more show doesn't create enough value that you're going to increase your number of subscribers by X amount. You know, it's a weird thing when you're not paying specifically for whatever you're paying for a general streaming product. So it's going to be, right now, the anime industry seems like an all-time high. I just think some people are going to have to watch how they're actually making money and where that's coming from, or we're going to see a changing industry pretty quick. Because my argument against this kind of premise that Netflix has so much to do with this is honestly that Japan themselves has been changing the definition of anime for a while. Like if you look at how they outsource right now to make to get things done, there's a lot of outsourcing done in Japan, and there's actually some movements in government to try to like encourage getting more Japanese people to train them in the skills to create anime because they recognize it as such an important cultural touchstone and export that they're seeing a lot of the jobs in anime go out to China and Korea and different places. So where the creative mind behind the thing is from Japan, all the grunt work is done by people from somewhere else.
Interesting.
So, and in many cases.
Yeah.
So.
Can I say one thing, Joe? Can I say one thing?
Yeah. Hey, go ahead, Phil.
Netflix. Blood of Zeus season 2. It's been years. Let's get on it.
Okay. If you're listening, Netflix.
Oh, I'm sure they are. They got their ears everywhere.
We released the teaser for Arcane season 2.
No.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Arcane season 1.
They
Yes.
did?
Okay, now that we're talking about that, Arcane is the best anime. Now
That is
good.
Except it's
that's
not
an
an anime.
unicorn.
No.
it is
That's
an
an
anime.
at all.
Arcane, that's good.
It's actually
It's not even
animation.
close to
Arcane
anime.
is so good.
Is
Watch it.
It's
it
very
good?
good.
Seriously, watch
It's
it, Phil. It's
French.
really good.
It's French.
Yeah, have you seen?
Yes.
There's a series on YouTube where they're going through the animations of Arcane, and they talk about how they animated Powder and her different facial styles between Jinx, like when she's Jinx versus Powder, how she's got a rounder face, and like every time she calls out for, you can see the face crunch up, or when she's defensive and sees Caitlyn, all of a sudden her face gets pointy and crazy, and there's a ton of those little things that you'd probably miss if you weren't like, but when they slow it down, like I'm
You
just
did.
like,
Oh God, it's fascinating. No, I've seen that.
the details, the attention to detail that they can throw out for some of these things is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
So
Watch
yeah,
it, Phil.
big fan of that
Starring
show.
Haley
Yeah, so
Steinfeld?
good. What?
Starring Haley Steinfeld. That
Yeah,
one?
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
Does she do Jinx?
She's Vi.
Oh, it is on my
What's
list.
that, Andrea?
She's
Alrighty.
Vi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you not seen Arcane, Phil?
No, but I'm gonna now.
Oh, no.
Seriously,
That's-
it's really good.
That's the shit.
Guys, you're hyping him up too
where
much. It's,
Nope.
I'm not hyped. It's
No, we're
you
not.
can't hype the show up enough. It's
Really?
You
Oh,
cannot
wow, I'm
hype
all
that
It's-
shit.
excited now.
It's not just the
It's
animation.
very
The
good.
animation is amazing. The visuals are incredible, but the story
It's
is
very good.
unbelievable. The character development is better than most other things on Netflix.
Okay.
Like JP was saying, like the attention to detail to minor nuances of expressions and
Mhm.
mannerisms.
Mhm.
It makes it feel so real. You
Mhm.
forget you're watching a freaking cartoon. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mhm.
Right.
And if you played League of Legends at all, there's tons of little Easter eggs that are so fun for someone like me that I obsessed over that game for years.
But if you haven't, like
And it's
everything
still-
still makes sense,
Mhm.
and it's still amazing.
Never played League, and I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
yeah,
same.
and if you haven't played League, don't start. So
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Got it.
It's just not worth.
Roger that. Wasn't gonna, but it's helpful to know.
yeah. Okay. Well, things that people should start. They should start Jujutsu Kaisen if they haven't. But we
Definitely.
are gonna get, a little spoilery about it. Tony is here, and Tony is not all the way caught up. In fact, nowhere near all the way caught up. So
Right.
we
Tony's gonna
don't
leave.
have to intentionally invoke obvious major spoilerific things unless we have to, and we can give Tony a warning.
I don't think you
still
could talk
maintain-
about the last 3 episodes without that. I
I
really
still
don't.
maintain that he's so far
Might be.
behind
It's possible.
that he won't even know what we're talking about at all.
But
There's a couple things I can think of that,
a couple like really major
earth-shattering things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you guys,
Tony, I need you to
don't-
say exactly what you remember. What's the last thing? Because I literally watched every single episode today. It's very hard to be like, what happened in the last 3 episodes? I
He's only
kind
in
of
season
remember.
1, JP.
Huh?
He's only in season 1.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm on episode 11.
okay. So you want to just get out of here, or what's up?
No, it's fine. You know what we're talking about.
You guys, I am actually going to dip because I have to
Okay.
get up like
Okay.
really early tomorrow. So I'm going to dip.
All right.
I
Well,
feel like this is dual purpose. This is going
Fair.
to work out for you
All right,
because
that's
there are
fair.
some
I
things that
just wanted to mean you didn't have to leave. Only if you wanted to, Tony. You didn't have to leave. We wanted you to
No.
stay, but we understand if you have to
Yeah.
get up early.
It's
Wait.
it's going to be another hour of me sitting here like this. Like,
Yeah,
Expand.
100%. 100%.
Expand.
Very fair.
okay.
fair.
Well,
No.
Tony, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll have to have you back for an episode of something you can talk about, spoilery, or when you've caught up on Jujutsu, or when MF Ghost is done, or something like that. So,
yeah. All right, guys. Well, it was good seeing all you. I will hit you guys
Good
up
to
later
see you.
and have fun. Don't spoil too much on the show. There,
Don't watch this tomorrow.
Right.
not
You got to
watch
stop
this.
watching it here too, Tony.
All right, guys. See you later.
bye.
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 All right, I will share a screen so we have something to look at. All right, so this is where JP, you're saying you're not sure where
This
last
is episode
started.
14 through 16. So where are we starting? And then
we
I'll know
started when Ne-sama was
Maybe.
pulled into someone else's world,
domain.
like
the chick
domain,
with
yes.
the braid
Yeah.
over their head.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the
And
the
the
kid
cop.
here
Yep.
on screen, and
she's fighting the smallpox demon
Smallpox demon. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, so
Incredible.
that's
by
where we
Fake
started.
Ghetto.
I almost said the TB demon, but I knew that wasn't right, so I was like, no.
So what do we? I'm going to go bottom to top here. What do we think about this fight? Let's cover this fight and Ne-sama and her pupil here, and how do we think this is going? What are our thoughts, Andrea?
Yeah, I dug this fight because I dug like some explanation of powers. It was very brief, which was very nice, as opposed to some other explanations that have been going on in the past few episodes. But yeah, I mean, it was a very nice like appetizer. Like this is obviously not like a big fight. like her objective is to get to Geto. So like this was a nice like this is interesting. I got an explanation of what's going on. Visually cool. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna move on. So short and sweet. I dug it.
Okay, nice. Mike, do you understand what the role of this kid is? To me, it seemed like there was he's tagging along for a purpose, and she's using him for that purpose. Did I miss that, or am I just not understanding? Did that make any sense to you? What was happening here?
He's supposed to be her. This is like a corrupted relationship, corrupted compared to like the Batman and Robin, right? Where Robin was there to assist Batman in the fight, not on equal ground, but provided. This dude is just a distraction.
He's like a conduit too.
Right. Yes.
He's like the ultimate crow. Like the crows are like her thing, but he's like the ultimate version of that.
Yeah. I almost wonder if she manifested him.
Yeah. I wondered that too.
I thought that was something. When you said that, I was like, is this guy even real, or is this like a projection in her mind that she just created? That's how it felt to me during the fight.
She can push her cursed energy towards him.
Yep.
Just like she can with the crows.
And he can like accept it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's willing to lay his life down. Now, the only reason, one thing I'm not sure of is like, is he the first and only? Because it sounded like he might not have been the only one, and they were like dispensable. They being
sure. He might be a version or like a Yep.
Yeah.
Just create yourself a hype man.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I kind of read it as in that moment, like that this was her little brother, and that when she was like, will you die for me? They both knew.
It's not really happening. It's
not really happening in the way that you think it's happening. Like maybe for a split second he does like actually die, and with the cursed energy or the I don't know, but it seemed like they both kind of knew. But that's interesting, Mike. The theory that maybe he's like one of many, and he is really like, I'm ready. Like that's what I'm here for. I never thought about it that way.
She was so willing to send him off, right? But if she's such a core element to her ability set, right? Then where does she get another one? She just finds another fanatic. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she makes them.
Yeah.
And she's talked about expanding her crow abilities that she felt that they were not sufficient enough, right?
Interesting.
Well, and he's such like a physical copy of her as well that I would totally see like some sort of manifestation or conjuring as like a channel.
Yeah.
I love this. For those watching, I love this panel, by the way, this frame.
Yeah.
The colors in this fight were really just gorgeous. Like gorgeous. Yeah.
JP, what do you think of this theory? Is the boy is he a real boy?
I mean, Yuji was talking to him, so that was like, okay, so he was real, but the fight had a different tone to it. They did a good job of making it feel that way. It, you know how you just feel uneasy about something, and something that you thought for sure wasn't kind of there. I've been enjoying how they kind of split up all of the sorcerers at this part of the thing. There's like, okay, everybody go around the veil, try to figure out a way in, and getting to see so many different abilities that is not taking up a lot of time has been pleasing for me.
Okay. So, all right. Any other thoughts on? I'm just excited to see more of Nene here. I think she's a really cool, mysterious character. Every time
I do too.
She's here, I'm ready, and she's like, I'm pumped to challenge Geto version, fake Geto.
Yeah.
So
like I said, that's like the entree. That's what I'm really excited for. This was just like a great short setup to lead into everybody else, but plus let's get to Geto.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing I would add, you guys covered it all. The only thing I would add is the fight was really cool. I loved the just the sound effects that went along with the fight. and like the kind of traditional Japanese like blocks they hit together.
like typo and yeah. You're
I
right.
love that. That's awesome. I love when anime throws that in there. It's just really cool.
I did too. That felt uniquely Japanese, right? I mean, when we're talking about Japanimation, like that felt that way, and I love the aesthetic. I like that demon he's not just a brawler there. That was a mental game, right? And it preys on primal fears. I like that a lot.
It was cool.
Agreed.
Yes, Andrea?
Oh, I was just gonna say it's also a nice break from the very physical fights that are to follow. Because a lot of those are so like flesh rending, like fisticuffs, brawler, up close physical battles, that this was like a nice reprieve in a different style than what's coming.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. And what preceded it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was intense too.
Yeah. So next battle, we get, with the old guy that was drinking allegedly, Zenin clan here. I thought this was a really interesting group of fighters against a really unexpected opponent. Again, we had like this little group of cursed spirits that are kind of all like dying. We had first one, Tree Lady, gone, and next up, Squid Guy, So we had Nanami and Maki and this Zenin guy with a really interesting 24 FPS ability.
Did you just geek the F out, John? Were you just like, frame rate?
I liked
somebody's
his little
talking about
speech.
the TV settings.
I did like that little speech. It's like pulled right from the mouth of a Hollywood director. Just talking about. There was a while like a PSA that some directors were putting out saying, "Hey, by the way, all your television sets are coming with this enhanced motion thing turned on by default, and it's terrible. It's wrecking our vision and what we're trying to put out there, and all this sort of thing." So this is very much that. So Phil, make sure you have that setting off on your new giant television set.
Honestly, should I make sure I do that? I don't even know.
Honestly, I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be, but basically there's different like frame rate smoothing options, motion smoothing. Yeah, it kind of just takes away blur, and it makes things, as he says in here, look like a soap opera. Everything is in focus and clean, and people like it for sports. Like for sports, you can see everything, no blur. But when you're watching a movie, there is blur. You should have blur. Things take place at 24 frames a second, not even 32 like television or 60 or like people want to play games at. So
director's like, I threw that blur in for a very important reason.
John doesn't want you to know, but he ghost wrote this episode.
All right, I'll check it. Check it out. I haven't noticed that. I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen that before, where it looked too like in focus. But I'll double check.
So I do this kicking thing where I keep underestimating different people. Like, how do we think of this fight went? We got to see a couple new powers. Let's go, JP. What do you think of this fight?
So it's kind of in two parts, right? They're like, okay, let's fight. Okay, good guys are winning. And then all of a sudden they're just getting their asses kicked.
He expands his domain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the domain expansion. I totally forgot that when you do your domain expansion, that's your only trump card you have, because you can only do it once, typically per day. I didn't know that. Otherwise,
they reminded us. Yeah,
they reminded me. So I was just like, okay, that makes sense. But I did like the old guy bounce around really fast. I don't know. I like how they switched up the animation just so you could kind of see what he would see with his frame rates or whatever the hell he can do. I don't know. I felt like some of these monsters were freaking OP as hell because I think this is like one of the first times you really see some of these like higher level sorcerers just getting waxed by some not so strong looking people. Because up to this point, you know, it was just the tree person and Jogo who got their asses handed to him by Gojo. And you're like, oh, they can't be that tough. But then when you see the rest of the people, it's like, not everybody else is just not that strong. And this is the whole point of, like, all the bad guys, they've been training and they've caught up to everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is kind of that equilibrium that we've been talking, that I know I mentioned early on how the good guys were all the strongest, but you take away Gojo now and it's pretty damn even, if not balanced the other way now.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like the balance of power, it's a cool dynamic to see the bad guys beating the shit out of the good guys. I love that. It's good for a story. Good for
Mike. Do you agree?
Keeps me on my toes.
Sorry, JP.
Nope, that's Speed. Mike.
I like the balance of power shift, and I like that, like, holistically, I think this has been a really cool way to show the different levels of power, right? Because like you said, Jogo, we're like, this dude thinks he's tough, but he's a laughing stock, right? And the only person we ever really saw interact with him truly was Gojo. And so that's our concept. You know, he's a joke, and all these other demon or cursed spirits are probably jokes as well. And then you see some of these guys fighting back and forth, and main character is just, you know, supremely powerful, it seems, right off the bat. And now all of a sudden in these last few episodes, we have been immediately, like, car crash style violence shoved into what the real power scaling actually is. And I love it and I hate it at the same time, but I mostly love it. The thing I hate, and I actually wrote this down, and it's the thing that has pulled me away from the show. I still like watching it for the visuals, but as far as seeing it as a cohesive, overarching story, it's every once in a while we get a big surprise, and I like that, but I don't really look forward to the show. It's because every single fight seems to set its own new rule system that was not a precedent before, whether it's because their powers are so unique and seemingly unrelated to anything else in the universe, or because the power dynamic shifts so quickly. There's no way to, like, track the magic system.
It's
We're
hard
now,
for sure.
yeah, we're just now getting to be able to track the tier scaling levels, and that's why I'm happier about it. But, like, this magic system is so undefined that when somebody suddenly does an ability, I'm like, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
Right.
And I don't like that feeling.
Sure.
You know, as cool as it is. Like, what was the one I was thinking of recently? Oh, actually, it was just in this last episode when Toji was fighting Megumi, right? And he stomps the ground and all the rocks fly up and he takes out all the rabbits. That was awesome.
That's
I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, why is that a thing? It's super cool, but it's just out of fucking nowhere.
I feel like, Mike, to your point, even the characters on the show don't understand the magic system. So they'll be like, how is this person doing that thing? I don't even sense any cursed energy on them. And it's like they don't even understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And I feel like, as cool as it is to see it, and as freeing as it is, because the creators they don't have confines, right? They can be as creative as they want, but it just lessens the impact when somebody does something cool. Yeah. Because it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, because it's not, because anything seems to be possible because they haven't set any boundaries.
Yeah.
Sure. True. I get that.
It does make it really hard to track, like what's what. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reminded of like, to me, Jujutsu's always felt a bit like X-Men. It's kind of like it. Yeah. Students with abilities going to a school for, you know, all that sort of thing, and they have varying powers, and and it falls into some of the pitfalls that some of the X-Men comics come into, especially ones where they're going to space or something, is they'll go through this whole big explanation, and I'm just like, well, if you say so. It often happens with psychic abilities. Professor Xavier is going into someone's mind, and there's setting up these new rules, and it's just sort of gobbledygook. And you hope they thought it through, but you should make it make sense to me too, and I like that point, Mike, that they keep it feels like they keep changing the rules, because if there's anything I've learned from D&D is like, you want to have fantastical, crazy things happen, but your players can't feel like that shouldn't have happened, or like, wait a minute, I've been playing by the rules here. I've been doing this. I've been rolling my dice. How is that possible? Like, you have to, everything has to feel true to the world it's in. And so establishing some rules is something the show has not done well, I would say.
I think they don't do a good job of telling the story of powering up in here. I mean, they kind of did it with that Squid Boss. It's like, oh, you must have ate 1,000 people, like right when they first met him. And that, I guess that's like, oh, here's the power level. You ate so many people. That's how you got so strong. Maybe. Right. But they just gloss over it just so they can have extended fight scene.
Yeah.
And since they smashed all these fights together, the first, 5 battles that we got to see, clear cut, the higher level people come in and we're good. The nail lady that Mike sexistly hates, she got pounded with the other chick, and then the guy with the machete comes in and wiped up that dude in a second.
Right.
And then just like, okay.
But did he?
Wait.
Wow.
Okay. So at the time, I'll say, so we thought at that time.
Yeah. No,
most of those fights were clear cut, like, okay, the stronger person won. You understand. Awesome. And then all of a sudden the rules are kind of, the last 3 fights, that we see here are just like, okay, these rules are kind of breaking a little bit.
Yeah.
And nothing makes sense.
It's funny because I feel like the bad guys actually have more rules on their powers. Like their powers are much more defined and make sense a whole lot more. The bad guy hierarchy makes a lot more sense and is more thought out.
Yeah.
When you see, and I apologize that I'm skipping, but it's just to serve the point. But when you see Jogo and Sukuna fight, it's like, I always knew he was more powerful. Like everybody knew. I just didn't know how much more. And now I'm going to be basically demonstrating that. But there was a clear tiered hierarchy, and their powers are much more thought out.
Yeah. Well, and now Sukuna flips the script on us. And is he going to be the last airbender of cursed spirits?
I mean, yeah, we definitely can get there to that rewriting, but you know what I mean? Up to that point.
Yep.
I felt much more solid about where everybody fell there. Yeah. Whereas when we go good versus bad camp, or even good versus good, I was I don't know, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was impossible to tell who was going to be on top. And
except for Gojo. Gojo's the one exception of everything. But everybody else, I was I don't know.
But then Toji pops in and has no cursed energy. He's just got this heavenly blessing. And I guess that means that he can take on, former Gojo. To your point, it's and Toji cool. But
I've kind of wondered, kind of along these same lines, if the show is intentionally doing this, making, telling you some things, but then being a little vague and confusing and unstructured in other areas without many clear boundaries or guidelines to kind of keep you off balance. Because that's probably the emotion the characters are feeling, because they're always in these especially this season. I feel more off balance as a viewer than I did in the first season. It was more linear, oh, he goes to the school and he starts his training, and then there's a school competition, and then there's bad guys attack. That felt very formulaic, more a better version of My Hero Academia. And then this season, I'm it's very off balance, and a lot more people dying, and it's more confusing, and maybe that's intentional. It kind of seems like
it could be. I think there's just a point where you need to pull back. There's too much rise.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure.
Like not that I'm not invested or interested in this storyline, because I am. Sure. I think there's a point where like it's going to get to like the absurd levels of like,
oh yeah,
you can't just like make everything up. Then none of this means anything.
Oh,
so I think there's a point to pull back, but yeah. I take your point, Phil.
I think that's a good explanation of how I'm feeling and kind of why I like to watch this show, but to me, it's almost like a monster of the week show. Like it's a fight of the week. I almost don't even care about the underlying story anymore because it's been so distracted.
It's a little lost.
Right.
Yes.
They have all these little side things. Like it's like, we got to pull it back in. We got to pull it all back in a little bit here.
Yep.
And they will, and they did it with the movie, and then that brought me back in. I was like, oh yeah, now the story's cool. Now it matters. And then they're like, but watch all this fucking shit. And it's like,
yeah.
Honestly, when I was watching it all in one day, like the first couple hours, like I was like, did they forget about the fingers? Like, is that even part of the story anymore? And then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, look, we found them all.
Yep.
Force them down. So it's just like, what the fuck? Did I miss something? Like, did I miss an episode where they collected all the fingers, or did they just have them all?
They
just have them all. Hey, that's pretty convenient.
Just say Itadori has no gag reflex.
No, he does not.
He took it like a champ.
He opened wide up. I like how they made a point to follow him swallowing. It's like, great, thank you.
Yeah. My last bit about the powers is, you have two schools of like Harry Potter, where magic is the power and you have that or whatever, but then all the spells are the same. Everybody can, if they're good enough, can harness the same spells, and so like it's how talented you are at using them or whatever. And then you have X-Men that you all have the mutant gene, but your powers all manifest in different ways. But they keep the powers simple, generally speaking. Controls ice, controls fire, optic blasts. And so that's kind of to your point, Andrea, with the enemies, it feels a little more like that. Jogo, fire. Wood lady, woods and trees and plants. Squid guy, ocean shit. It's like it makes sense that way.
Sense.
The blood guy, blood lasers. Blood manipulation.
But that's because their powers are literally drawn from specific fears, right? Like that is why they are grounded, quote unquote, because they're manifested from that kind of thing. So, they talk about, what is it? Sukuna is like the fear of death or something, I think, right? You had the plague one. This guy's obviously
fire,
right. Sure. And so their powers are that way. The nature one, she was manifested actually from like the destruction of and the fear of the loss of the nature around
natural
Japan.
world.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's why they work. And then they just chuck the people in and they're like, well, this guy's got blue and red balls of energy. And if he combines them, they're purple. And that's like real good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if he plants that shit in his head, he can revive. He comes back to life. And it's like, what?
And he's got the 6 eyes. We don't know what that means, but it's great.
Right.
Also.
Yeah.
Also great. Also really good.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I know, Mike, some time ago you were questioning like, hey, is it going to matter at all? Like, when is this going to matter? But the story, you were asking for the storyline with Sukuna to come back. And we clearly got a bunch of that now. We've had Ghetto's cult ladies feeding some fingers.
Yep.
And surprisingly, they're there with more people, like that we were just kind of shown all of a sudden that there's some more of them. Yep. And I don't know about you guys, but I really like the scene when we're showing you on the screen now with Jogo and the cult girls. They knew immediately the threat that was in front of them. I love the way that was handled.
Yeah.
Sukuna is out I don't want to move. Can I breathe? I'm sure it's okay for me to breathe. And then they have to kneel, and Jogo doesn't kneel far enough. You thought getting your knees was low enough?
Yeah.
Oh no. We got all the way down. I thought that whole thing was pretty awesome.
That was intense.
I felt it animated, that fear. Like just the expression, the way like the breaths were taken, like body everything felt
like sweating on the ground.
Just like I felt anxiety as like a viewer. I was like, oh shit. Like that was well done. Well
And
executed.
we just saw Jogo demolish 3 high-level sorcerers, burn them to the ground.
Yeah,
which we should talk about for a moment.
I don't know.
I was wondering if you were going to go there.
I don't think they're dead.
God.
I mean,
Okay, so
Nanami is not dead. Come on.
Dude, he gone.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll be back.
You have a shot because they have a sorcerer around there that's capable of healing people. Megumi was talking about
they
that.
dropped that.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you have a
They
shot.
dropped that little
Inari. Yep. Plus, like the old Zenin guy didn't look dead.
No.
He looked.
Oh, I
burnt,
thought
but
he was
didn't-
dead.
He looks like
I
he had,
thought
like
he was the
burn
for
on.
sure one that's dead.
He didn't look it though.
I don't
Like
think
they,
so.
I mean, he still has like a whole body. He didn't look charred the way like there were burnt spots and like shadow outlines where Nanami and Maki
the tree
were.
person.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Right.
That was like, oh, that's
happening. Yeah.
she's dead.
Very quick.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that.
I
scene.
thought they
That's
purposely didn't really show very clear shots of like
Nanami and Maki.
the others like being dead. I thought they cut away fast, and I thought they left a lot of room for speculation.
This show better not be one of those motherfucking shows. I'm sorry.
Everybody lives.
I don't want you getting kicked off YouTube. I'm swearing too much, but yes.
No, it's fine.
The cult girls are definitely dead. If that helps you out, Mike.
Yeah, those chicks getting like sliced. Oh, dude, what a great image.
There's old man Zenin.
Yeah, he seems alive.
But he's
toast.
But he's intact.
His mustache isn't even burned.
His eyeballs are fine, I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
So like,
his eyeballs didn't melt
It's
yet.
in the realm. It's in the realm. He's not like not a body.
Yeah.
Nah,
I think actually if anybody's in trouble, it's the randos that Sukuna was like, don't move, and then like,
oh yeah, the meteor hits. Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, like I think they're in trouble.
I know Panda, and who's that other guy?
I know.
Who's that other guy with this toothpick?
I don't remember.
Yeah, we don't know him, but I don't like him.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to.
We've seen him like once before, but yeah.
He wouldn't be grown up Yuta, would he? With the samurai sword is the only thing that made me think of it. And the same color hair
I don't
from
think
the movie.
so.
He couldn't be that old yet, right?
No.
I also think it would have been a little more obvious.
True. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're like
story,
it's known that he's not returned yet. Wherever he is, he's not
right
in the fight here.
I didn't think so, but
No, I think that group is in more trouble than this group, honestly.
Where's Yuji's best friend?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, besto friendo.
Besto friendo. I was like, oh sweet. He played the ping pong, and then I was like, okay, that's it. We're just playing ping pong. Come on.
Yeah, there's other stuff coming, but
yeah. It's very hard to watch 16 episodes in a row and stop. I feel it's the biggest block in my life. Just
such an episode for you to end on too. I mean,
that's how invested I was when I didn't even realize that I was watching the movie for 10 minutes. I was just like, they're bringing it back. And then I was like, wait a minute, have I seen this before? I'll give it another minute. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not even in the season. I was like, no.
That's the movie. I don't like how that automatically plays.
Yeah,
so
I hate that. I was jacked.
So in the first couple episodes, Gojo mentions that he's not worried about Sukuna coming out because he could easily deal with Sukuna. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that he could easily deal with Sukuna while Sukuna had only consumed a couple of fingers? Or is Gojo on such a level that he could wipe Sukuna even at full 20 fingers or whatever it is?
Well, I'm going to say it's not a few fingers because Geto, when like they were talking to Jogo and he was like, how many fingers do you think I could take? He said like a generous
Right.
estimate is 8 or 9.
Yes.
So he's at least above that. I don't know if he's full all the fingers. I don't remember how many there are. But
think
he's
he has, like,
at least
15 in him.
more than that. No, I mean
I
how
think
many there are total, because I felt like 15
20.
wasn't the full amount. 20?
There's
20,
20, and I think he has 15 in him, they thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Gojo thinks he can take him full strength, but isn't sure. and
Yeah,
wants
he
to see.
hesitated when Yuji asked him in season 1. He's like, you could take Sukuna, right, if he came out.
Probably.
And just like, yeah. Like, he was definitely hesitated, I remember.
Okay.
Mm.
So I think it's going to be a really close match.
But let's make sure, so to everyone's point here, that we fully establish both of their power sets before that fight happens. So we
Agreed.
understand the clash and how it happens. There's not some surprise new ability and new
Right,
rule
that
set.
anybody has.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I thought it was really cool, and definitely you guys mentioned it much earlier in the episode about how, Jogo was always kind of treated as a joke because we really only seen him go against Gojo, and then he torches some very powerful sorcerers, but then the moments later he is in desperate fear for his life.
His moment was so brief.
Yeah. But we did get to see he is crazy powerful.
Oh my God, that was epic.
Yeah.
Melting the city down.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So he really had a last hurrah that was
He did.
pretty cool.
He was a fun character. I like Jogo.
I liked when Panda and the other was like, we gotta run. And then Sukuna pops up, he's like, no one move.
Yeah.
No one moves until I say. And then the meteor's coming down, he's like, and then it's like, now. And then
You'll run when I say you run.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes, if anyone moves, I'll eliminate.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, like no one disobeys. They all can just feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I live for those moments in this show. I think that I think that's a lot of fun. What else we got to say about the Sukuna Jugo fight? Because we have one other fight that we definitely have to talk about yet too.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else. I thought it was supremely animated. That felt like so. Has anybody watched, JP? I think you have the Dragon Ball Super movies.
Yes.
Okay. This one episode felt on par from an animation perspective as the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, for example. And that I thought was top tier. And this one freaking 29-minute episode felt as good as that, which blows me away.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed the whole episode. I was super invested. I still think the favorite part of the episode for me was when he chopped the first head's chick off, and she's like, the other one's like, oh, I'm just going to kill you with my phone. And he's just like, poof. He's like, what lame sorcery is this? You're going to kill me with this?
Yeah.
Popped it off.
I did, just to briefly bounce back to that, I did appreciate that as the way that like Sukuna came out and like we're treating Yuji right now. Like it was something that happened that was very believable to me. Do you know what I mean? Like Yuji just got in this like huge fight and it's just like wrecked. It was like, where do we go from here? And it was like this is the moment we're bringing out Sukuna and we're just gonna like force feed him like all of that treatment for like how this like led up. I was like, I get this. This is logic. This is happening. I get it.
Yeah, I'll give you that too. Yep.
I do think the overall what's happening does make sense, and I like it. I'm invested and I do like it. So I kind of the opposite there of Mike. I am interested in this whole like dire situation right now and how it's going to unfold. And this is a new giant wrench in the gears throwing Sukuna in here because it really was like, can we get Gojo out? Do we have the manpower to deal with these people? And now this completely unexpected, how can you possibly deal with this?
Well, it raises the stakes for getting Gojo out. It's not just about getting Gojo out. It's like we need Gojo out because we need him to deal with Sukuna.
Right.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed that Toji ended up killing himself, because I kind of wanted to see Toji try to go up against Sukuna. That would have been like, he's seemingly pretty unstoppable too, so it would have been interesting.
Yeah, it was such a good like moment though.
It was
for like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into it, because that's the other fight that I was talking about. So the interesting line that was brought up was that he is just going after like the strongest thing, not. And when we're in a room of powerful sorcerers, he goes after his son. So that was a pretty interesting and telling moment there.
Yep.
What he's able to sense from him.
Yeah.
And it was I thought it was handled really well, and we got to see a good variety of like more uses to Megumi's powers, because I feel like in season 1 it was so sort of, I don't know what exactly he can do, and now it's like it makes more sense, and they being able to call things from this, like Shadow Realm or whatever. And so I thought it was a really cool way to attempt to flee for his life, and understanding he just had to he didn't give up. But yeah, I thought it was a good separation from the other crazy fight that was going down.
Yeah.
He put up a good fight for someone who had just expended that much energy, basically burrowing into somebody's domain expansion, which we have not really seen a bunch of.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great way to like tell the physical toll, although he did sort of like get out and get back up in it pretty quickly.
These last 2 episodes have been a pretty big glow up for him in general in his power, because John, to your point earlier, he'd summon a couple of things. A lot of the times it was the wolves, right? And then the only real evolution is when the one wolf died, and so then the black one absorbed the white one, right? Instead of him losing it, right? We saw that happen. But for the most part, it was just that same thing over and over. Now he's showing us he's powerful enough to pierce a very high level curse's domain. And then, the fact that he's able to keep up with Toji,
right?
Yeah, that's huge. I thought this guy was going to end up being just a side guy.
Me too.
He was there to introduce us to Itadori. He's done his job. Now he'll go to the side.
Yeah. He had a really impressive. I thought he was really impressive in the fight against the old timey circus dude too. Like, he had Yuji to fight with, but I mean, he was. The way they fought together, it was like he was equally important in the fight.
He had strategy.
He's right, statistician here. He's like, strategic mind.
Yep.
Let's see, not a statistician. That's definitely not what he does.
Stratagem.
Yeah.
Strategist.
Strategist.
Stratego.
Andrea coming in here like, duh, guys, jeez. Yes.
Well, I'm only an English major, so.
Right. I'm interested. They're teasing some like. There was this other group of people, but then they were teasing like these like even more powerful like curse users, like that lady with white hair that Sukuna met at the very end. And, and then. The person you only heard him coming, but the really huge person with the footsteps that was coming to kill the dude with the long.
I was wondering if that was
hair.
Panda transformed.
Oh, I bet you're right.
Could be.
That was at the very end there.
Yeah,
like gorilla form or whatever.
It's like didn't he have just like a white skin tone to him? I thought it was going to be.
We just saw Shadow,
friend,
right?
No, I thought we saw.
John, pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up. I thought we saw like a
foot or something.
Lower body. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it was like a really muscular foot.
I thought it was going to be best friend guy. Like,
but he's like making. He's going like, he's making like weird noises and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I need to see it.
I'm trying to.
And there was that.
Yeah, we still have a lot of other people. Yeah, I was going to say the one who was like, "Remember, we're family."
Yeah.
Yeah. there's still a bunch of other people that are like off the board who are clearly coming on. So we're getting like a second wave here.
Yep. The principal and that other chick and
Inari.
It's amazing how many people are here.
So many.
You know,
it's hard to
keep getting. Yes. Okay, I found the scene. I can't play it on screen, but I can get the find the. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is it in the posts?
Do a
like
still
after the credits?
No.
No, it's like right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy goes, oh. Then I thought there was like,
oh no. Yeah. He's like, wake up. He's like telling.
Yeah.
To Megumi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll find it. So I wanted to bring up, Phil, you're saying that you didn't like how Toji. Oh, I think you're right. I think there were feet. Yeah, I actually really like that. I like that.
Oh, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying I would have liked to see him
keep going.
But that's clearly not.
What are you going to do with him exactly? You know, like he's possessed. He's kind of like a zombie. We don't know. I mean, like, there's so much more to go into. Like, if he's just going to be a shell of a thing, and so he kind of was, but then there was something left in him.
Yeah.
And he's happy that his son didn't go to the Zenin clan, and he can just like end himself. That is a beautiful moment, and it's a good way to deal with him.
Yeah,
it's
emotionally impactful.
When Megumi finds out that's his father, that's gonna.
Oh, it's gonna.
Sure.
Yeah.
Blow your mind.
I like how they planted that seed too.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, who was that? What was that? I'll deal with it later.
Right. And then like, fuck, I don't know if I'm dead now.
Yeah, right.
Because he just got attacked from behind. I don't even know.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, I thought it was emotionally like just like a devastating fight, and then like just because we know.
Yeah.
Obviously what he now sacrificed. But it was also really smart because I think there were going to be a lot of rules they were going to have to establish if he kept going. Like,
true.
So like, is he going to have some physical limits? Like, does he really, like, is the body going to expire? Like, is the sorcery eventually going to expire at some point? Like, I know they said like, oh, it kept going because I have blah, blah, you know, but there was going to be a lot more to explain. There was going to be too much to explain if he really kept going.
Yeah.
To your point, though, it would have been cool to see him fight some other people. Like there could have been some really epic moments.
Yeah. No, it makes sense how they did it. I think. Yeah, but yeah. There'll be other epic moments. So
here's the feet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the guy that I thought though. That guy, the best friend guy.
Toto.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not Toto.
Not him. It's not him.
No, I don't think so.
But it's not Panda.
It's not Panda.
Nope.
I think it's a new. So I think it's like someone new, probably.
Way taller than this guy, obviously, because he's looking up at him.
And this guy's alive.
I am so pissed by that. I'm so pissed by that. I said it.
He could have just
I said when that episode happened, I'm like, Nanami I hope he made sure he was dead.
Yeah.
But we didn't see that happen, so I guess it didn't happen. And it's frustrating. No. What are you doing? You had this guy demolished.
I know.
Right?
Rip his head off and like burn him, whatever you need to do to just not
and I don't find him like a compelling anything.
No,
he's not a compelling bad guy. He's not a compelling character. Like there's nothing. I was just like,
not a fan.
Glad you're gone, and I'm not happy he's back.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Let's see. All right. So we had awesome, crazy fight. So rest in peace, Jogo. He had a cool moment. I have to say, I want to, in these episodes, I really enjoyed them. I do like the monster a week, the fight a week kind of thing, because I still think the stakes are right and we're moving in a good direction. And my complaint often is, I get tired of seeing Itadori or whoever, like limited number of characters. Mm-hmm. We're really getting a vast swath of characters, and it is fun to find out where they all stack and rank. Mm-hmm. And I hope that picture becomes more clear. I'm okay giving it time to where we find out, how everybody kind of stacks up. But I also don't like the thing that you do in Dragon Ball. It's like, oh, well, this person is Super Saiyan level 2, so of course he can beat Super Saiyan level 1. Like the clear delineation between the two is like takes away elements of surprise or whatever. So I do like that element of it. And I will say again that the show is just so well directed. Any shonen I've watched in I don't know how many years, other than Chainsaw Man, this season is just really well directed. And there's like little stuff I thought of in this fight with Jogo and Sukuna. They all of a sudden they're showing in the corner of the screen as like they're like coming in. There's a like bank sign giving the temperature or something. Yeah, and it's just whatever, and all of a sudden it shoots up. And just like little things like that. I don't know. I think it's really well thought out and directed. It's
so. Speaking of the direction, going a couple episodes back now, maybe it's just one. For basically all of the Squid Guy fight, we had somebody actually narrating what was happening. What did you think of that?
When did that start? Because to me, it just all of a sudden started. This season for sure, but midway through it.
It was just the Squid fight.
For this arc, for the Shibuya.
No, it was... Yeah,
did it happen for Yuji?
It happened with the curse, with the possessions.
The blood guy.
I think it happened with the blood guy, but it happened before that with this with the possession stuff. The old lady and everything.
Oh yeah. I kind of like it.
Or was it just when Toji got out?
Maybe, somewhere around then. Yeah,
I kind of like it because it's not like a character explaining things, like giving exposition. It's just this random narrator.
Yes. I like it.
It's at least not a character being like, you should already know this, but why you're explaining it for us, the audience. I get it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So you like it, Mike?
I liked it. And because it allowed the fight to continue on screen. It allowed the events to continue without that stupid. So the exposition bothers me when it's a guy that just stops everything in the middle of it and the other person's just like, yeah, I'm listening. Like that awful. Right. But this, it felt kind of cool. And I like the voice that they had doing it too.
Yeah,
I agree.
It felt ethereal.
Wise.
Yeah.
Well, like movies narrate things. Why can't,
well, we usually do get then like a clue as to who the narrator is. So eventually they're going to either give us a clue or it might start to be a bothersome thing.
Yeah, I'm sure Andrea will know this. Like it's, especially in movies, you don't go to narration voiceover a lot. Like people look at that as lazy. You want to try to be able to show and not tell. You want to make it work in your story. Anyone can just say voiceover, explain it. You can always have that, and it's just an easy out.
Sure.
But in this show, where the powers and things are so complicated, I would much prefer we get internal monologues of people trying to figure out what's happening and kind of explaining to us, like working it out themselves, and narrator lady.
Sure.
Again, to me, it works in this genre, especially in terms of like X-Men or superhero comics or whatever. We're up front page, often lists all the X-Men, lists their names, their powers, and how tall they are. Like it just, My Hero Academia does this. Splash screens that say the hero, their favorite food, what their power is, just like gives you this information right up front. I am perfectly okay with that if it means that we're not interrupting the flow of the story for, like you said, Mike, unbelievable, ridiculous, dialogue exchanges.
Sure. Yeah.
Where everybody just agrees to suspend the fights, you can explain.
Well, and then even worse in this show, it's like, I'm explaining my power, so that's going to make it more powerful. Then why the hell are you standing there listening?
Right.
Get in there.
I mean,
Even Sukuna said it.
it's common. Dragon Ball does it. Why you let people power up? Yeah. Oh well, I have to fight them at their full strength because that wouldn't be honorable otherwise, or something.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyone else have like final overall thoughts of where this is going, or how these 3 episodes have been?
I feel like we're getting into wave 2
Mm-hmm.
of all like the other people who are coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts, not final thoughts, but we're talking about 3 episodes here. There's a lot to digest. It was hilarious that the bunnies were doing freaking karate on
Yeah.
on
I think one of them
Toji's
punched him in
shoulder.
the face.
Yeah. He did a roundhouse kick even,
Yeah.
and then he grabs it and starts beating the other rabbits with it.
Yeah. It was pretty wacky.
It was, but it was, for some reason, it didn't like take me out of it. I was just like, what, that's happening right now.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love his fling hairs power. That's one of his best ones.
Yes, that is cool.
I did love the brutality. We got the heads sliced in twain. We had the like Jogo's jaw just like busted. He's trying to like push it back up.
Yep.
Lots of severed appendages, steaks and brain. Yeah, bunny viscera and eyeballs shooting at the screen. Like we had a lot of brutality.
That's why I think May's fight needed to happen, because we needed a beat. We needed something cerebral and like cool tones, like just kind of a little more icy, calm, like still important. But then the impact of this is greater because there isn't just like, we're not so desensitized to the brutality. Like it came back and we're like,
That's a good point. If the whole episode was non-stop, nothing but like the city's just torn asunder, it can be too much. So, I like the pacing change.
Let's find out who belonged to those feet.
Yep. Who belongs to the feet? Rest in peace, Jogo. You were comedic relief and surprisingly powerful. Let's hope that our other allies, our other sorcerers, some of them better be dead, but
I know
not
you
all
like
of them.
them. I know you like them, but Nanami has to be dead. You cannot steal that emotional impact from me. I don't care about the old guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just met him.
Sure.
For the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. I know part of the making of the show, so it's just my guess. But I don't know. We'll see what they do.
So if it's, I respect
I don't want
the
to
show.
take away from you, Mike, but I don't know. I just don't know what's happening.
I do like Nanami a lot, but I will understand if he's dead. I think I know the status through pure coincidence, just things I've looked up a long time ago of one of these characters, but I won't say which. And I don't know. I there's shows like Chainsaw Man that just start killing people.
Yep,
I love it. And some of my favorite characters. So I want this show to have stakes, to feel meaningful. And
you want it to be early Game of Thrones, not late Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
sure.
Even if some of these people are alive, when all said and done, the Shibuya incident, there better be some heroes' bodies. You can't come out of this clean.
No,
that will just be the worst decision.
Yeah,
I agree. It was a good start to take the old guy's arm, to be like, there are consequences, like physical bodily consequences.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a good start, but like, you need a body count at this point.
Yeah.
I love it. He's like, it's just a flesh wound, essentially.
Yeah.
Lame
right arm. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like hanging it out there. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Mike, have you watched Chainsaw Man?
I haven't, but I took your lead on watching Dorohedoro, and so right now you're at 100%. So I figure I'll try Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man is
it's good,
incredible.
All right,
So it's similar to JJK. It's a pretty wild ride, but it's really good.
To me, Chainsaw Man is my favorite ongoing anime.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Wow. Okay.
Well, better than Jujutsu, you're saying? I mean, yeah, because
I think so.
it makes sense. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
it makes
and
yes, agreed.
There are more emotional stakes for sure. Interesting. The bonds between people matter more. And it's only one season so far. I mean, it's going to keep going, but like just saying right now, the one season that's out, they managed a lot of impact in one season.
It's not even, what is it, like 14 episodes or something like that? It's not
some of that. It's not like a 26 sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could binge it in a weekend, easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I've got tomorrow off from parenting duty, so I'll give it a shot then.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Well, yeah, I think that'll about do it. Mike, you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
I have heard that.
On these episodes. Trackmouse34 on YouTube, and track_mouse on Instagram. That's my stuff. It's car videos, me going around racetracks for the most part, a lot of in-car stuff. I basically started it to have a nice repository to review my own stuff and critique myself and use it for coaching. Turns out some people like that. So
for sure.
And lately I posted out a video because John kept yelling at me that I wasn't putting enough stuff out. And I've been complaining about my recent acquisition, which was an in-car camera that overlays data, which is really amazing. It's very cool technology. So I can see my lap times, my throttle, and all that kind of stuff on the video. All this data here is super cool.
Yeah.
But that camera quality is dog water, just absolute garbage. And I paid $1,000 for this thing. That's not compressed by YouTube. It looks like that on my computer at home as well.
Okay.
And by happenstance, because it also was not starting and stopping automatically like it was supposed to be doing, I got mad. I brought a GoPro with me to Laguna because I did not want to miss. This was a historic event for me. I didn't want to miss it. I slapped the GoPro on the side of my helmet, and it makes this look as bad as it actually is. It's crystal clear, it's beautiful, and it's a GoPro 7, and it just slapped on my helmet. So I put up a comparison. That's my way to vent my frustration because I've already written a couple angry emails to the company that makes that camera. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So that was so that one was the GoPro, or that one was the bad camera?
That was the $900 bad camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I need to see what the good one looks like because that didn't look too bad to me, but maybe I just need to see what it could look like to know.
Trackmouse34. I'm not showing it on here. Everybody's got to go watch it.
All right.
So
it out.
you'll see the difference. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Very cool. We're going to get our done with field work. So we're going to get our decals pretty soon. Printed and mailed over to you, so that'll be fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll do a couple different sizes. I'll do like a big one. Just if you need, you got
something egregious,
a lot of real estate. You really,
oh yeah.
It's like, and then a couple a smaller one or something.
Good.
So
perfect.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else anyone wants to promote?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Killing the Flower does our main theme song for the regular show, so make sure you check them out on YouTube and music streaming services. MJ Honeybee wasn't in the chat tonight. WTF, MJ, but it's all right. You should still go follow her on Twitch. That's where you can find her. She's back streaming Dead by Daylight things. So I know there's a new edition coming to that. They're adding Chucky to it. So make sure.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, like I don't know, you won't see him, fucker, like what the hell, It's just, so yeah, that'll be fun. MJ Honeybee. Our regular podcast will be what's next week. And I don't know if we're going to finally get to talking about Castlevania Nocturne. I think that's probably the plan. Hopefully we can make that work. So we'll do a spoiler cast of Castlevania Nocturne. Yeah, let's get Phil on there. Got to get Chris on there. And then hopefully we can have JP jump in maybe too, to talk about this non-anime show. That, let's see. Other things coming up, we'll be keeping on with the Jujutsu Kaisen. We've got a Bond book review. I had finished that book. That'll be coming. So, make sure you subscribe, like, share in all the places, YouTube, Twitch, podcast directories, all that sort of thing. Anyways, that's all of it. Guys.
John's exhausted.
Thanks for joining me. It was a big episode. It's been a while since we've had so many people. So I appreciate you could all be here. And we'll see everybody next time.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
See ya.